Hello, my name is Monique Carmela. I am a trauma-informed feminine empowerment, self-love, and relationships coach. I created the Good Girl Unleashed podcast as a way to support you on your journey to liberating yourself from limiting beliefs, trauma, suppression, so that we can all come home and live authentically and unapologetically. I support my clients and my community with resolving trauma, releasing suppressed emotions in a safe, supportive way that allows them to reconnect to their authentic self and create a deeply fulfilling life and rich, nourishing relationships. I am so grateful that you're here. Let's dive into today's episode. At the end of last year, I felt this deep calling as I was moving through quite a deep emotional wave, as I was moving through layers and shedding and really touching some deep spaces within myself. And I had so much pouring through me that I desired to share. And I shared this in the Goddess Awakening Masterclass. And I have kept the replays on my podcast, episodes 87 to 89. So if you haven't checked that out already, I highly recommend. And on that masterclass, I connected with a really beautiful woman, Becs, who felt the calling to join me for a deeper journey following that masterclass. And so over the past 4 months, we've been journeying really deep together in my private coaching. She's also done a couple of my programs and she's experienced tremendous results. And so in today's episode, I've brought Becs in and we're going to be sharing a little bit about her journey and what she received by going on this journey together. I feel like it's so beneficial to be able to hear about other people's experiences and how this worked for them, to really support you to know that it's possible for you too. Because what I have found, not only for myself but so many others, what can hold us back from taking that next step that we're really feeling called to take is that feeling like, is this going to work for me? Or that fear of what if it doesn't? But I truly believe if you listen to that calling within, you take that step and you implement what you're receiving. So you really do the work, you're going to receive tremendous results, transformations, insights that are going to guide you and support you on your journey. So I'm so excited to have Becs on the podcast to share her journey and her experience. I witnessed her in one of the most challenging times of her life, where she was really going through a dark night of the soul and having such huge changes in her life, a ending of a relationship, a nervous system breakdown. And really what I saw was a massive transition taking place and a really beautiful opportunity of coming home, of reclaiming her power, of connecting to all these different parts of herself and coming back to wholeness. And she has completely transformed, and it's been such an honor to support her and to witness this transformation. I'm so excited to share more about her experience. So let's dive in. All right, well, thank you so much again for taking the time to chat today and share your experience working together over the last few months. It's been quite a wild journey. It's been really amazing to witness. And I really feel like when we do take the time to share our stories, it is really supportive for others to see just how much is possible when we do make this commitment. Because I feel like for me, speaking from my own experience, it can be a little scary sometimes, or a little like there's a bit of nervousness when we're stepping into a journey like this, and to really trust in that and to take that, I guess, leap of faith, and yeah, just to see what's come from that journey has been absolutely amazing. So I'm super excited for you to share your experience.
Yeah, thanks, Monique. Yeah. I am home, I really can't thank you that our paths across when they did, and I really feel like it was divine intervention at a time in my life which was pretty, it was full on for me. So yeah, and I'll share more about what my life looked like pre you coming into my life and during, and there were many challenges that that we faced, but we faced it together. And that, I think, you'll ask me what my biggest takeaway was, but it's just really that connection with you. And I haven't fully reached out to the community yet, but it's just really that connection that you're not in this alone. And that's been just so divine and such a gift for me to have ongoing too.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And it's something that I share quite a bit, of how powerful it is to do this work together. To know that you're not alone is so important, and I feel like it's really essential to really going into the deeper layers and healing these deeper wounds and creating these shifts. I do feel like that support and that connection is so important.
Yeah, it really is. We just we you know, I don't often ask for help, but I've come to realize during the most challenging times in life, you just can't do it alone. And to have, especially another woman by your side, yeah, just, you know, journeying together and being honest, like brutally honest as well, and having that trust and faith, yeah, makes it all doable, you know. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, and just knowing that when you're coming into this space as well, that you're not going to be judged and all of you is welcome, and that really allows you to come in with that deep honesty, with lots of compassion for what's coming through. That's what really helps, is knowing that you are in a safe space where you can be completely transparent and you are going to be met with love and compassion in all that you bring to the table.
Yeah, totally. And even, you know, the silly thoughts that are, you know, I didn't even realize some of them that I had, how I criticize myself, or just silly little things that you know, I feel, you know, shouldn't be there at their ripe old age of 50, but they are, you know. And you've been able to teach me to embrace all of that and to welcome those, you know, with open arms and, like you say, compassion. But if I keep it inside, it's locked away, you know, it's hidden. And you manage to have a container that you know, is so healing for those parts of me to come to the surface. And to, yeah, I have no idea what the healing process is, but it just is, you know, during the time with you. There's little bits and little bits that just keep being healed. So I feel like that's penetrating through my entire being, you know, down into, you know, the depths of my soul and my existence here on earth. It is very transformative, and yeah, I value it so much, and I'm so grateful.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit more, if you're open to sharing, just where you were at when you first connected with me. I know you reached out toward the end of last year when I was running the Goddess Awakening Masterclass, and you joined that beautiful journey. Yeah, if you want to share a little bit about where you were and what it was that really motivated you or inspired you to take that leap of faith and to step into a container like this. What were you looking for as well?
Yeah, so where I was prior to our journey together, last year was really one of, I can safely say, the most challenging year of my life. It started with, my dad dying, and that was quite a horrific, painful death. And I was there for my family, my mother and my sisters, and helping them through that journey. And then my mother had 2 strokes after that. We were trying to sell her house to move her family home, that she'd been in for 40 years. And she doesn't like change, but we knew that we needed to put her into, a retirement village. So I was there holding her hand, and then also when she had these strokes, I was there 24/7. Then I also had a health scare where I had a cyst, and so I had to have a partial hysterectomy. And coupled with that, my relationship, my long-term relationship, was really, really breaking down. And we'd also been through family court for my stepchildren, who needed to reside full-time with us because the mother was highly abusive and narcissistic on a whole nother level. So really helping those children through a very challenging time in their lives as well. And like I say, then my relationship was breaking down, and pretty much I given to others so much, and I really had lost myself along the way, and I suffered physically. My health suffered. I pretty much had a nervous breakdown where, I was in the mall and suffered a panic attack, and everything just shut down. Sorry, that's a tip. Everything just shut down, and, basic human functions kind of all just went out the window. And I don't know, probably many people have had a panic attack before, but it does feel like you're having a heart attack, and it wasn't safe to be in my body. I wasn't getting the support in my house. I didn't feel supported at all. And for some reason, I must have been scrolling online and clicked on something on social media of yours. And I remember lying in bed in the depths of darkness, and it was a really dark place for me. And I saw a message saying that the Goddess Awakening Masterclass was starting. Would you like to join? And I think something else made me click on it, but I did, and I joined. And from that, I've got to say, for over 3 days, I slept through most of it, but I had your voice on my headphones, and something just resonated like so deeply and so profoundly with your energy that that's what I needed. I trusted that I couldn't stay awake for a lot of it, and whatever I was getting, it was more on a subconscious level that was so nurturing and calming for me during those 3 days where I couldn't get out of bed. And so really that sold me on an energetic level, that it was right for me, and I wanted to know more. The only other person that's happened with was when I tried to listen to Eckhart Tolle, some years back, and every time I put on Eckhart Tolle, I just fall asleep. So yeah, so the rest is kind of history. I mean, it was to get me out of that dark place. We journeyed together with it, and I can't thank you enough for that. Where I felt so alone, I left the relationship and I started to honor myself more. I started to realize my part in it as well, deeply so that, my overgivingness was coming from my lack of self-worth, and, that I used to feel like I'm not good enough. So I overgave, and yeah, there's so much in that journey that we uncovered together. But from one particular thing that really stood out to me was a very, very dark night where I left the relationship and I was renting a studio down the road, and I called for help to God, to whatever was out there, God of my non-understanding. I'm not religious, any spirit. I really just shouted out for help that night, and I let my tears flow. I allowed myself to cry, and I feel like that was like my dark night of the soul. It was a horrible night. I sat in all my grief. I sat in all my loss. I sat in all my abandonment. And then the next morning, it was like something else had stepped into my body. And I walked outside, and for the first time, I felt okay being in my body, and I felt earthed and I felt grounded. So that was a little miracle that happened in the very early stages of our journey together. Yeah, that will be forever blessed for having that experience.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, I remember when we first connected, there was just so much going on for you, and yeah, that resonance that you felt that really allowed you to step into this and really receive that support in the time you needed it most is such a courageous and beautiful thing. And I'm so honored to be the person that you trusted in to hold you through that. And I noticed even just by like making that commitment to yourself and really allowing yourself to receive that support, there was already a shift inside of you that I felt that really allowed you to take those steps of leaving the relationship. And then when you had to leave your home that you didn't really want to leave, you were able to really find that inner strength within you, because that space was held for you as well. But it was also like, I could feel that you came into your own, you came into your strength, your power. And that was really, really beautiful.
Yeah, and it's such a reflection on, the things on the outside that, at 50, I felt like, what am I doing? I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing, not much money, not much to my name. I'm renting a little studio in somebody's back lawn at the age of 50, but then it really turned on its head with you helping me through that, and I'm feeling so value, like so much value of where I am at. So like you say, I stepped into my personal power, even though on the outside all the physical stuff doesn't seem like I've got much, or to other people I don't really give a damn, because I'm more myself today than I have been in,
Froze a little bit there. You're back. Yeah, so you were just saying, yeah, you're more yourself today, which is such a beautiful thing, and that's what I'm really here to support people with is like a huge theme that I notice is like that tendency to overgive. And when we start to work together, we can really uncover where is that come from, what's at the root of that, and start to heal those beliefs and those wounds around not being good enough, and feel those wounds of abandonment and rejection and the different things that we've experienced from infancy and childhood and throughout our life. We get to the core of what created some of these experiences that we're having in the present. And then you come into your personal power, you come back into yourself, and it doesn't really matter what is happening or like physically in the external, because you find yourself within, you find your value within, and then that starts to reflect outward, and the external can shift very, very quickly.
But yeah, so true. And you're right. It's a feeling. It's a feeling of when we touched on abundance and other workshops we've done, and then the different Sally things that you're offering. And I feel so abundant in so many ways. So I'm waiting for that to reflect, in the physical world. But at the moment, it doesn't really matter to me. It's how I feel on the inside. And we don't really need much less is more. Yeah. And I think that's it brings me to what else I wanted to say is the way that you've crafted the programs and the different journeys. It feels like it integrates deeper, that it's simple stuff, but it integrates. It comes less is more, like it's the perfect rate, the perfect order, nothing's too much. And if I feel like, I don't, want to do something today, then that's all. Like I keep hearing your words, it's all welcome, It's so all welcome. You don't have to. I've spent my lifetime beating myself up, like now isn't. And so that I'm recognizing my old thoughts and going, it's all welcome. It's all welcome. Everything's welcome. Everything's contained. Everything's held. So in that, it's not a challenge. It's a want to keep working and keep this, my commitment to self on a daily basis through the breathing, the beautiful heart-centered meditations. And I'm so grateful for those heart, my little cave that I've made up in my meditation is such a beautiful place to sit in, and I can sit in it at any time of the day now if I'm feeling that overwhelm.
That's something we worked quite a bit on, was like that relationship to self and rebuilding that trust with yourself and really welcoming all parts, having your consistent practice of this is my time for me and really honoring that. So coming into, because when there was a lot of that overgiving, there was a lot of self-abandoning. So that was that journey to self-honoring and really trusting in yourself, prioritizing yourself, which has been huge. And because we did the private coaching together, but then you also received the Sacred Art of Loving Yourself program. And I really love the heart journeys in that program. And I know I get a lot of amazing feedback from people, what they receive in those spaces. It's pretty profound what comes through when we start to really deepen that connection to our heart space, create that beautiful altar.
It's magic. It really is. It's magic. It's sacred as well. It's really sacred, and woman to woman. That's a beautiful thing to start celebrating. I really think when you're saying an altar, that sacred place for me, and like you're talking about honoring. You teach us to honor ourselves as women in all parts of it. And that womanlyhood, you know, we are goddesses. We are all goddesses.
Mm.
And I don't think I would have ever said that, 6 months ago, prior to you coming into my life. I would have like just, choked when I said that. But now I can say that today. So that's such a huge transformation for me in a relatively short time.
Mm. Yeah, it's pretty amazing what can happen in because we've been working together for about three months, 3 and a bit months. So yeah, it's been really incredible just to see such transformation with each call that we had, with each week that you navigated the sacred art of loving yourself, and it's always just really heartwarming to see how powerful this work is. Like I know from my own personal experience, and then the more that I witness and support others, it's just really mind blowing. And I'm always really humbled to see people just really showing up for themselves. And I've said before, it's like as we fill up our cups, that's where we have so much more to give anyway, but it's rather than giving and like taking away from ourselves to give to another, we're actually giving from our overflow. And then when we're giving from that beautiful, like, abundant, overflowing place where we have that like self-honoring as the foundation, we have boundaries, so we're not over giving, we're actually giving from abundance. We're all benefiting, and that overflow actually feeds back into you, and it creates this beautiful like circulating energy rather than like a depleting of I'm giving from my cup. So it's been really amazing to witness that journey for you. I'm curious if you wanted to share some of your biggest takeaways from the journey together so far.
Yeah, so biggest takeaway so far in the journey really has got to be, well, the first one that I mentioned earlier, when we just started talking was that I'm not alone anymore. I feel like I've got you for the rest of my life, which is wonderful, as and when I need to, call on you for a one-on-one. And all the other programs that I've got on hand, all my resources. So the biggest takeaway is just that connection. Really, I'm not one to have a lot of friends. I think being a little bit older, I've learned that just to have a handful is more valuable to me, and you're one of those now, and to be able to journey with with the difficult stuff. You talk the same language, and it doesn't matter where I'm from, who I'm about. It's heartfelt, centered communication that. Yeah, so it's definitely the connection with you is the biggest takeaway. Yeah, and other takeaways, there's so many. I love that, I rang you we had a one-on-one call, and I was beating myself up about feeling unsafe in my body at the car park about to go into the supermarket, and there was no reason that I would be feeling unsafe. And I couldn't rationalize. I was thinking, oh no, what's going on? I've come so far. Well, why have I got this feeling that I just want to run home and hide underneath the duvet? And you said to me, that's all welcome. Instead of beating yourself up, you have no idea. Maybe there was something else happening in the ethers, or something. Maybe there was something that you needed, that your inner child needed to be afraid of, and it was like, and that's okay. So let's go and celebrate that. So when I thought it was, like a bad thing that was happening, you were like, no, this is all good. It's all welcome. I'm not sure what else that we processed during that, but I remember that was really profound for me. So that was another layer of really listening to my inner child. Having that communication with my inner child, that's a massive takeaway. Um, I've never connected with my inner child before. My inner child's been frozen in fear, and I've never had a relationship with her, I've always tried to do better. I've overachieved, I've overdone myself to try and hide that. But yeah, having a relationship and healing my inner child, and always on a daily basis having time for her to come out, is a whole new concept for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like again another layer of that, from self-abandoning to self-honoring, of like this inner child was coming forth, and logically it's like, I know I'm safe, why am I feeling this way, it doesn't make any sense, and then we start to shame ourselves or wrong ourselves for that and beat ourselves up, and because we're not maybe acknowledging in that moment that actually it's not the present self that's afraid, there's an inner child that's afraid, and we might not understand that, but that's okay. We can actually be there for the inner child and support them and be like, it's okay, validate their feelings and welcome them, like ask them, like, what do you need, what are you afraid of, how can I be there for you? And I noticed just in that conversation, and we did an embodiment journey around it as well, around like really supporting that part to feel safe to come forth and ask you for help. And because really what it's doing, it's picked up something in the environment, so, and that's like put the alarm bells on of like something is not safe here. And when we can really meet that part and speak to it with compassion of, I see you, I hear you, I've got you, what do you need, how can I support you? It starts to create more of that inner safety for the inner child, and in turn for you. And then we feel more secure being in the world, in relationships, in ourselves.
Yeah, so true. And you just I was just thinking, as you were talking, you made me reflect on, my life, I was the youngest child by 8 years, and I was in that generation of being seen and not heard, but I grew up that my voice really never mattered. And actually at school I had such crippling anxiety. I remember in about 16 I developed a bit of a stutter, so my voice was never, I always felt choked in my voice. But when you're talking about being validated, now I'm starting to learn, when I validate myself and my inner child, I don't need so much that validation from the outside, be that with my partner to be, who's somewhere going to turn up, man in, knight in shining armor, I'm sure, one day. But whether it's the partner or family, and that, it's like, that doesn't matter to me so much. I've got this, I'm validating myself more. So other people are always going to do their stuff, and I'm learning not to take that so personally either, and just, yeah. So it's that not seeking validation from the outside as much as I've got that validation on the inside.
Yeah, and there's that reclamation of power again, because when we are waiting for someone else to validate us, someone else to meet our needs, someone else to like be the knight in shining armor, we're really giving that power away. And yeah, it's that reclamation of your personal power, and you are the one that gets to validate. You don't need to wait for someone else to do it.
Yeah, beautiful.
And is there anything else that you would like to share about your experience, your journey over the last few months?
Just that I'm so grateful, and I value so much all the programs that you offer, all the support that you offer, and there's payment plans as well if I'm struggling with, financially in a way. But I value it so highly that I just want to continue our journey together, and what else was I going to say? Here is one thing. So this is kind of private, and I'm not sure where this is going, but I don't care. It's all good. In my past relationship that ended last year, that I was talking about, intimacy and that really shut down for me, and pleasure really shut down. And even though I haven't done the deep pleasure course yet, but I've got it on hand to go into. I have noticed since I started working with you and honoring myself more and loving myself more. Today I can truly say that I do love myself more, and that's huge for me. And in doing so, it's in turn, my pleasurable, experiences in a sexual with myself is been next level, and I'm able to, come to this beautiful orgasm that's sacred, that's with, all of my being honored. Sure, it's self pleasure, but it's such a beautiful thing. So that's, that's huge for me, from going from not being able to orgasm into feeling again on all levels. It is, that's pretty magic. You can't, I'm sure people go to their doctor about this, but we didn't need to.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful shift and acknowledgement as well of, like, I believe we're all sexual beings, and a lot of us do have a lot of that sexual repression and that shutdown, or like not fully feeling, which is a big area of my work, is really learning to feel again and practicing feeling, because many of us have become numb and dissociated, disconnected from our body and our sensations, because it's felt safer to do that, to disconnect, because feeling can be uncomfortable when we're feeling pain and we have these deep wounds. So as we do this deeper work, we're unlocking these pleasure centers in our body, like our yoni space, our heart space, the breasts, the third eye as well. And so we're connecting to all these different parts, and this energy starts to circulate. So what I've shared about this on some other episodes as well around sexuality, when I was speaking to the Deep Pleasure program and talking about how the shift that we can experience in orgasm, where a lot of people will understand when I talk about like the orgasm or the climax, where it's like the energy kind of gets shot out of your body and you can feel quite depleted after orgasm, and you can kind of feel like, it's like that energy has actually been like taken from you. Whereas when we start to do more of this work around self-pleasure and self-intimacy and self-connection, self-love, we actually start to circulate that sexual energy in our body, which opens our heart, it softens us, so that tension, the armor that we've been holding as protection, this self-pleasure practice starts to soften us, open us, connect us to our feminine energy. It's so beautiful that there's so much armoring that we hold around the heart, the throat, and the yoni space. And there's such a deep connection with the yoni space. So the yoni being like the womb and the vaginal canal and the vulva and that whole like feminine space. And the throat, they're so deeply connected, and it's so fascinating because what you were sharing earlier around the throat and the speaking, if you're having struggles in the throat and there's that constriction, you're going to notice that there is also tension and armoring in the yoni, in the pelvis, in the hips. So as you start to work with one, which we obviously were starting to work with more of like the throat space, the heart space, and then we started to come into naturally the pleasure center. And everything's working, like even the personal power in the solar plexus. So it's like we just worked with all of these beautiful energy centers, just opening you up into deep connection and sacred union with yourself. And then that's the foundation to having this magical relationship and this like mind-blowing sex, if that's something that you're looking for, or like really like next level like spiritual connection. So it's not just about kind of just getting off, it becomes like a deep connection and like circulating that energy. It's such a beautiful journey. I'm so happy that you have all these resources now, that you've got deep pleasure as well, and the confidence to express, the sacred art of loving yourself, that there's so many resources. And my aim is to always set you up for success so that you've got this lifelong toolbox. It's not just another thing to tick off the list. It's not like, oh, I've dealt with this, tick, 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 tick. It's more like I'm on a journey of continuing to honor myself, continuing to expand, continuing to see what else is there for me to experience. I love about this journey is that we tend to start from a place of I'm experiencing quite a bit of pain and I need to shift this, I need to heal this. And then on that journey, we start to expand and open and realize that there's so much more available to us. It's like, what else could I experience? And it becomes such an exciting, nourishing journey that's like, yeah, I've healed a lot and there can still be more to heal. But also, what else could I experience from pure desire and from curiosity, and just because I want to, because I'm here for all that it means to be human. And yeah, it's so amazing to witness those beautiful shifts. And there's been so many, like I've just noticed, like just transformation after transformation with you. Like I felt that real willingness to step into this container, to really prioritize this journey and this work, and I really honor that.
Oh, thank you so much. Namaste to you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been really amazing to hear about your journey. Is there anything that you would share if there's someone that's maybe thinking about taking a step in this journey, whether like doing the inner work for themselves, like really committing to this journey? Anything that you would like to share with them, any wisdom or anything that's coming through from your heart that you'd like to share?
Just that they are worth it. You know, they are so worth this experience. And so valuing themselves that much to invest in this journey with you, you know, it's immeasurable. The things that come back, and it's a feeling on the inside. It's that resonating. It's that and in turn, you know, you'll know if it's right for you. But as far as the pureness of what you give, it really is purely divine, and I just love you for it. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's definitely always the invitation to feel into is this the right container for me? And I do find there can be a little bit of that resistance around, can I really invest the time, the money, the energy in this for me? And especially because I do work a lot with mums and with women that do struggle with the over-giving and struggling to give to themselves. And so what I have found, not only for those that I work with, but also for myself, it's in that investment, it's in that making the commitment to yourself. That's the first transformation that actually takes place, because you're now declaring, I deserve this, I am worth this. And last year I stepped into a container for myself because I wanted to develop my skills more, but I also wanted to receive. And it was such a profound, year-long journey. It was so incredible. But it was the biggest investment that I'd ever invested in myself. And in that is such transformation of really declaring to myself that I'm worth this. But I also knew that in doing this, I was going to be able to serve on a much greater level, not only me, my family, my community, my clients. That's what I see when we put ourselves first and we really prioritize ourselves and make these commitments. That's where we have so much more to give. And that's why I continue to invest in my own journey as well. I love learning, I love growing, I love all the work that we do together. And then I also get to share it, and that's such a beautiful thing. And now that's also what you're doing, is you invested in you and you did this for you, and now you're sharing your journey and your experience, and that gets to support others to know that this is possible for them too, that they're also just as innately worthy as we all are, and we deserve to be supported, we deserve to be held and be in community as we navigate these deep layers. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been so beautiful chatting with you and just hearing about your experience.
You're so welcome. As I'm looking at myself on the screen, I see a big smile on my face, and this time as well, it's been that reflection back to, 3 months ago when I started on this journey. Oh my God, how bad did I look? I couldn't even string a sentence together. So, to feel that, just that beauty and that love and that appreciation and, your generosity it's such a gift. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're absolutely glowing today. But you're welcome. You're most welcome in all of your forms, in all of the seasons of life, and there's beauty in all of it. And we can be a bit hard on ourselves, and we can tend to be our worst critics sometimes. And just knowing that even on our darkest days, there is still so much beauty inside of you. There is still so much worthiness inside of you and so much love. It's sometimes can just feel quite deeply buried, but it's always within you. We're just really allowing this flower that's already inside to blossom open and be seen.
Seen and heard.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to the Good Girl Unleashed podcast. If you are loving this content, go ahead and subscribe to be notified of upcoming episodes. Please leave a 5-star review to help me get these powerful teachings and practices to those who need it. If you would like to submit a question or would like to know more about how we can work together, send me an email to info@moniquecarmela.com. So much love to you, beautiful human. Until next time.